Howdy, howdy, everybody. It is Crystal Green. Today is October 30th of 2021, day before Halloween, and I'm finally posting something about my Bible reading. I have done Bible reading the last couple of days. Yes, my schedule's been a lot busier. Yes, I'm still learning how to make time to spend with Him away from everything else, and I am in the process of working on finding a really great place to sit quietly with Him. Bible reading, Power 3 reading today is Ezekiel 31 through 33. And I moved back to my old Bible, my New Living Translation. It is an application study Bible. It has been through quite a few things, but I found some important time with my Heavenly Father in order to read it. Quote, because I made this tree so beautiful and gave it such magnificent foliage. It was the envy of all other trees of Eden, the Garden of God. That is Ezekiel chapter 31, verse 9. Now, next verse I have is, quote, and when I destroy Egypt and strip you of everything you own and strike you down of all your people, then you will know that I am the Lord. Ezekiel chapter 32, verse 15. Now, last one I have, quote, then this message came to me, and this is Ezekiel, from the Lord, Son of man, the scattered remnants of Judah, living among the ruined cities, keep saying Abraham was only one man, yet he gained possession of the entire land. We are many. Surely land has been given to us as a possession. Ezekiel chapter 33, verses 23 and 24. All that I have been reading the last few days, it hit me today. Everything that I have been reading is about pride. And maybe I didn't want to see, or recognize pride. That concept of, I should be doing other things. Maybe I should be doing something else. But looking at the definition of pride, okay, inordinate self-esteem, which is conceit, the delight or elevation arising from some possession or relationship, proud or disdainful behavior. The company of lions, that was an interesting one. A showy or impressive group. So, let me go back to my first verse. I made this tree so beautiful and gave it such magnificent foliage, and it was the envy of all other trees of Eden, the Garden of God. That's the Ezekiel 31, verse 9. So it's written not just there, but even in Ezekiel 27, which we were just reading, about the end of Tyre's glory. Now, mind you, this section of Ezekiel 31 through 33, this is about Egypt. But it does not change the location, does it? It does not change the location. The answer is still the same. The situation is still similar in the fact that this place was created by God. The blessings that were bestowed upon it were by God. The fact that Tyre, this place, oh yes, all the merchants were there to sell their wares. Oh, look, the oarsmen have directed you to this location, and everyone wants to go to Tyre. Yes, it was this fantastic place. And then Tyre also did not recognize where these blessings came from. Egypt, this fantastic place. It's amazing. Pyramids, you name it. But God blessed us with all of these things. This is my belief, mind you. This is my belief. These places were created by God. God, blessings were not recognized. Tyre, Egypt, had this temporary success. Where this is in the Bible is temporary success. However, the pride has set in when we forget. It's easy for pride to set in for any person if we do not remember where these things come from, where these blessings, these gifts, these opportunities fully come from. And I don't think that matters as to which religion you are part of. I think, and I believe, that applies to any person, any religion, any sex, anything. When we forget to recognize that something has not been created by our own hand. I love this book. It's great, but I sure did not make the paper that it came from. And even if I made the paper, I did not make the ingredients to create this paper. I did not snap my fingers and create the ink that was in the pen that I used to write, or even the graphite that I used to write with my pencil. I did not create that. I mean, we have companies that make these things, but the elements were not created by us. They were not created by us in the first place. Somebody else laid all of that foundation work. And that big guy, in my book, that big guy created all of it. But when pride settles in to any situation, we forget. And we start losing track of where we came from. Start losing track as to what's really important. In Ezekiel 16, it talks about the unfaithful wife. And especially Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 15a, I'm going to read it, where it says, "But you thought your fame and beauty were your own." That's just the first sentence of that verse. And we forget where things come from. We forget that we don't just miraculously print off money, because that would be money laundering and money creating. We don't print that off and create that and say, okay, now I'm a millionaire just because I created it. We don't have that. There's a system behind it. I'm not going to get into that. But when we look into this, even in Ezekiel 16, it talks about how God stopped, even when in the process of us struggling in our own blood and our own mess. And he cleans us up, and he takes the time, and he loves on us, and he cleans us up and puts on beautiful robes, puts on beautiful scent upon our skin, and creates us and allows us to prosper and grow. We have free will to grow. Yeah, we do, right? He created us with that. Jeremiah 29:11, he thought completely about us in the process of making us, each and every one of us, right? So here we are. We think we got it all. Oh, hey, we got so amazing. We just turned into this amazing thing. We're the pride of the garden, man. And then when I destroy Egypt and strip you of everything you own and strike you of all your people, then you will know that I am the Lord. So when if we don't have the items that we need to start a fire, and we're out in the wilderness, are we going to be able to stay warm? Is that going to really be an opportunity? Or we can't create these things that we have. They came from somewhere else. The elements are laid there before us, before someone created a pack of matches for us to strike and to light this flame and to use an accelerant or, plants or whatnot to create this fire to keep us warm, to help us survive the night if we're out in the wilderness, right? No different. But listen to this. It says, man, the people of us, those of us who were scattered, we left out for, Abraham. And initially I saw this verse where it talks about Abraham was the only one, yet he gained possession of the entire land. And we as many, surely the land has been given to us as a possession. Just because there's a lot of us and we think that we deserve it, or we think that, oh yeah, well, that happened to so-and-so, so I'm going to get the same. That may not be the case. Abraham was fully committed to God. Abraham was obedient and trusted when there was no reason, no physical evidence, so to speak, where someone says, hey, if you trust God, here's the contract. He signed right here. If you trust God, he's going to give you this. Wasn't in writing. No. But then I started looking at this verse again and I saw, wait a minute. Again, Abraham was this one man. Father Abraham had many sons. Abram went through a whole change of his name, change of his lifestyle. Man, yes, he lied. He kind of snuck around. Oh, this is my sister. No, no, dude, that's really your wife. What are you talking about? All this stuff that even Abraham did. But Abraham was obedient to following God and being willing to step out on a limb for the future of others. That's not even just a random act of kindness. Like an epic novel of random act of kindness and obedience, right? So, pride. In the past, I remember my husband used to talk about how he hated the phrase goat. Goat, talking about, greatest of all time. Michael Jordan, greatest of all time. Blah, 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 greatest of all time. But lion is a czar. It's a baron, right? If you look up the word lion, the synonym of lion. But lion is also Lord. A lion's roar could be heard from 3 to 5 miles away. One. And that's just a roar of an animal, a mammal. So how loud, how deep, how wide, how heavy is the voice of God, which comes from inside of you, but is not of you. And he is limitless. He is limitless. How much can that be felt? How many generations in advance can feel that? Think about that. So, yes, it's not about the greatest of all time, the goat. Mine is about the Lion of Judah, the Lord of Judah. Even the ones that go wrong and do not stay obedient, but then we return as the prodigal. That's still my Lord. Yeah. I got good info today in my Bible reading. So take time away from our daily. Take that 30 minutes to an hour that we may have gotten stuck going through our cute little reels that we love watching because those funny puppy videos are just hilarious and so sweet. And yes, I get suckered in, but I'm realizing that's sucking time away from the one who will give me ultimate peace. That's draining my heart and my energy from where my focus should be, which is on my Heavenly Father. Yeah, so thank you for listening through my 13 minutes of me talking about my Bible reading. But thank you for taking the time to spend time with me in this virtual space and spend time with your Heavenly Father in your own space. Find some space because He's waiting. Have a great day.